Toyota Land Cruiser 2025, review by Liam Bird for On Yorkshire magazine. Despite the fact that Toyota has been making the Land Cruiser for over 70 years, during half of which I've held a full driving license, up until very recently, the opportunity to drive the Japanese brand's four-wheel drive flagship had eluded me. Besides which, Toyota isn't exactly known for launching new generation Land Cruisers on a regular basis. The now previous generation J150 variant had been around for over 15 years, so surely what could be written about it had already been written. Not only that, but every time I asked Toyota if they'd be kind enough to lend me one from their press fleet, they never seemed to have one available. Nevertheless, the Land Cruiser always remained on my to-do list. Now, at long last, there's a new Land Cruiser, and I've been fortunate enough to drive not one, but two of them. I'll explain why later. Even if it's not mechanically a revolutionary departure from what went before, currently there's no hybrid version and there's certainly no all-electric offering, there's still plenty to discuss about the new J250 series Toyota Land Cruiser. Let's deal with those oily bits first, shall we? Whereas elsewhere in the world, Toyota offers a whole model range of Land Cruisers, including the 4.6-meter-long Land Cruiser 300 series and the very retro Land Cruiser 70 series, complete with 4.5-litre V8 diesel and manual gearbox. Here in the UK, we're only going to get the 250 series. The chassis, by which I mean a separate, traditional ladder frame chassis, is shared with the larger, some say posher, J300, and is altogether a much stiffer structure than what went before. Torsional rigidity has been increased by 50%, thanks to 84 additional weld points. That extra stiffness helps improve ride, refinement and handling, all things being relative, while retaining a coil-sprung live rear axle and double wishbones up front. The 2.8-litre four-cylinder diesel engine, on the other hand, is very familiar, having been carried over from the previous generation Land Cruiser and the current Hilux pickup. Here, though, it benefits from a smaller turbocharger, which delivers a broader spread of torque and helps, with the aid of Toyota's new direct shift 8-speed gearbox, propel the Land Cruiser from 0 to 62 miles per hour in an adequate, if not exactly modern luxury SUV-like 10.2 seconds. MPG is claimed to be 26.4 combined. I got more. A 48-volt hybrid is said to be available at some point in the not-too-distant future. Toyota currently offers two specifications, Invincible and First Edition. If you can find one still for sale, the limited numbers First Edition, which I'm reliably informed is now all sold out, features a paint job in classic 1960s Land Cruiser 40 colors. Either smoky blue or land sand, matched with a grey roof. First Edition cars also have round headlamps reminiscent of Land Cruisers of old. Invincible spec Land Cruisers get square headlamps and that's the only difference. All Land Cruisers come as standard with black leather upholstery, dual-zone air conditioning, a 12.3-inch touchscreen and head-up display, a JBL stereo, a reversing camera, a digital driver's display, 20-inch alloy wheels, a sunroof and more chunky proper buttons than you can point a gloved finger at. A third row of seating, so the Land Cruiser becomes a 7-seater, is an option, and boot space, with third-row seating not deployed that is gargantuan. Towing capacity is 3,500 kilograms. Wading depth is 700 millimeters. As I said, I've driven both versions, one on-road, the other off-road, and in both cases, the Land Cruiser does indeed feel invincible. Once you've climbed up, and it is a climb into the cabin, you become master of all you survey. Visibility is excellent. That large square bonnet makes placing the Land Cruiser, despite its size, easy. And the new electric steering system has a tighter turning circle and more feel than first expected. Thumb the starter button, select drive, and the Land Cruiser will go practically and surprisingly accurately to wherever or over whatever you choose to point it at. Few owners, I suspect, will ever have to press the buttons to disconnect the front anti-roll bar. It allows you to tackle tougher terrain or lock the diffs, as even in its simplest of settings, the permanent four-wheel drive system seems more than capable. Millbrook's usually challenging off-road course was shrugged off with almost dismissive ease. Usually, such off-road prowess makes for compromised on-road characteristics, but not so here. Yes, the 4-cylinder diesel does lack the smoothness of a certain rival's 6-pot and can feel a tad industrial at times, but once up to speed, the Land Cruiser seems happy to, cruise at motorway speeds all day long. And yes, there is body roll if you attack a corner with too much gusto, plus the odd bounce from the coil-sprung rear. Air suspension would no doubt have provided a much smoother ride, but it would also have added unnecessary complication and thus been far more difficult to repair out in the field. The whole purpose of a Land Cruiser, let's remember, is to not only enable you to go way off-road, but also to allow you to get back on road whenever you have to. Fortunately, Toyota's enviable reputation for reliability makes you believe it will do just that, and do it time after time after time. There's no question that the new Land Cruiser offers a very impressive range of capabilities. Nevertheless, the fact remains it offers neither the refinement nor the performance of some of its similarly priced rivals. What it does offer, however, is a sense that it's been built to outlast its competition. It genuinely feels as if it's been built to last forever. If you've got a life that demands a proper 4x4 rather than a lifestyle or a school run or social media account that perhaps suggests you should drive one, the Land Cruiser should be at the top of your shopping list. It took me years to get my hands on a Land Cruiser, in which time I've been lucky enough to drive all of its competition. Despite its foibles and failings, few cars have come along that I've felt so taken with. It's as simple as this. I didn't want to hand it back. That long wait was very much worth it.